Hello everyone and welcome to ZP Productions, and this is one of my speaker reviews again, very relaxing one. So today I'll be reviewing the Concept 300 from QAcoustics. Now this is a pair of bookshelf speakers, and you can see that I kind of put it like bookshelves. They are actually inside a bookshelf that my wife uses mainly. A lot of soft toys here, but overall I think it sounds really good even in this position itself. Now, the Concept 300 is a bookshelf speaker I purchased specifically to put inside a bookshelf because I have my floor standard, the A7 Spandor. I think you have seen it in my previous review. So I just need one that is facing the other way to an area where I'm always usually working or surfing the internet, and then they will act as my bookshelf speakers themselves. Now it's a bit expensive to obviously put it like this, but I can guarantee you they still sound really, really good. And in today's review, I'll talk about it. They are a fantastic pair of speakers. The Concept 300 is a relatively high-end bookshelf, and in Singapore, together with the stand, you need to pay about 5,600 Sing dollars. Now this is quite comparable to the US price of 4,000, I believe 4,400 today. But in the UK, I believe you can even get it cheaper. I believe they are like 2.5 or 3,000 pounds, which is slightly lower than even the Singapore price converted. But that being said, these are heavy speakers, 14 kg per piece, especially if you buy them with a stand. By the way, I do have the stands, but they are not mounted because I have my floor standard A7s. If you consider the stand in, they are very heavy, like 30 to 40 kg, and I think you really cannot ship them. So buying from local is still the best way out, at least if you are living in Singapore. Now, this pair of speakers overall are probably the most balanced pair, I feel, among all the speakers I have tested so far. So I have tried quite a little bit of bookshelf speakers. I tried it with, in fact, one of my friends who was also hunting for a bookshelf speakers. I tried the Pro X, this guy. I tried the Cliff. I also tried the Focal Diblo Utopia. I tried various other speakers, at least 10 different pairs of bookshelves so far. Even some really, I'll say, as relatively more unknown ones. And I think these were the best pair for me because they have, I would say, a sufficient body to the sound. They are balanced and they are very pleasing to listen overall. In fact, if I was to put this speaker in comparison, like to say the Focal itself, which does have a very nice high trebles, but it felt very unevolving, feels very far away to me. I don't know. That's how I would put the speakers. The Diblo Utopia were really nice speakers, but I still think the Concept 300 were better for me. I also tried the Dyne Audios and also some other variants of the Spandor bookshelves, and really these were the ones I prefer in the end. Now, if you ask me to describe the sound quality itself, I would say as the sound of the speakers, well, balanced and has, if you ask me, good enough bass, really, for a bookshelf speaker, more than good enough bass that you can really enjoy. The vocals are very, I would say, as clear, very clean, very easy to understand everything that's happening, especially in the mids region. The high ends, I would say, as it doesn't have that much emphasis on the treble itself. So some people may feel that the clarity and details may not be the best thing about this pair of speakers. And I would say, as if you compare to some other speakers that I've tried so far, like those from Dali or those like say for Focal or even my Spandor A7, yes, I would say as the highs are just not as prominent, but if you really sit down and listen to the details themselves, they are there. They are still very detailed. And on these speakers, they are also very smooth, very, I would say, as good to listen to, and something that's really non-fatiguing. And that's really how I felt about it. And when it comes to the lows, as I said again, the bass was tight, it was strong enough, there was enough impact to me even without a sub, and I could feel really quite good amount of lows. I would say it's not as low as the Spandau A7, a floor standing speaker. I would say it's maybe not in the 30 Hz kind of range, but 50 Hz, which is what they're rated for, you do feel it, and even slightly below that, you can really feel the bass itself. Now, in terms of the sound staging, as long as you are in the proper triangle-like, equidistance from the speaker, it does give a very nice wide sound stage, very clear placements of instrument. The vocals themselves are, I would say, it's not super focused in the center, a little bit more diffuse, but I noticed that it is heavily affected by the amplification you use on them. On one of my amplification, which I'm using, the one behind me now, you can't see it, but let me show you some of the clips here. This is something from China. I just got it. It's a M40 from Audience. This is by right current mode M. I do not know whether it makes a huge difference or not, but I can say that it definitely sounds better than my previous Cyrus 1, which I'm using to power my A7. They just have a nicer body, a slightly more focused vocals, while still having a very big sound stage, and the bass are just so much tighter on this amplification. So yes, these speakers do get affected by amplification for sure, and depending on matching, you may get something you liked or you like even more. I would say as the speakers, even with some really cheap amplifier, I mean, I can show you one of these here. Like this is like a 80 Sing dollars, or that would be like 50 USD tube amplifier here. It works out really nicely. In fact, I've been listening to it for the longest period of time because it's so smooth. I'm not here to listen details all the time, and I can tell you that the amplifier just brings out the warmth and the smoothness of these speakers, yet still having decent amount of power, bass, and really general feel of it. So now, is this the absolute best speakers, or should I say, is there any issues with it? I think the biggest issue to me is the finishing. I really don't like the gloss finishing. It looks really cool, very modern, but fingerprint magnet, and that's really the issue to me. And then I thought it was really good. The build quality is fantastic. It's solid. When you just rattle your knuckles on it a little bit, you can hear almost no internal hollowness in it. It's just solid piece of a speaker itself. So very well built, overall really good sounding, and I truly enjoy the speakers themselves. Among the 10 plus speakers, I would not say that this has the best bass, the deepest bass, the best highs, or even the ultra best vocals. There are bookshelves that sometimes even cost less than that excels in that particular area, if you ask me. But overall, when I receive it and I use it and I audition it, I think this is the most balanced pair of speaker that gets good in every single way. Maybe not the very best, but really almost the best for every single parameter. And if you are in for a bookshelf of this price range, I think this is something that you should really consider and listen to it at least once. Now, I have a friend that also heard it. I think he's okay with it, but he do prefer the Dalis and the, if I believe, the ProAct DB1. Those are with the ribbon, or is it DR1? I'm not too sure. The one with the ribbon itself. Now, he do prefer more ribbon or AMT type of tweeter, which gives a little bit more sparkles in the high, but that's for him. I prefer a more smooth sound because to me, as long as I can hear the details if I focus, that's great enough. But even without focusing, I think this sounds just smoother and more balanced to me, and overall more pleasant. So it's a personal preference in the end of the day for speakers themselves. So the Concept 300 is something that you should consider if you are looking for a bookshelf speakers of this range. And for me, I have went through at least 10 of them in auditions. I think they are really the speaker for myself. And one more last note really is the amplifiers do matter for these speakers themselves. So get something that pairs well with it. Now, this is the issue. I do not know what exactly pair well. I only have 2 of them, but at least, as I said, my M40 from Audience was a great match for this speaker. And now, before we end this off totally, let you guys listen to a recording of these speakers. I will just play multiple 10 to 20 second clips so that, you know, I don't get in trouble. That's for it. Bye bye.
Treasure hunt. I long for something new. Have you heard the fairies when they sing and dance? Oh, I wish it was me every night. When I close my eyes, I see just to